listening to the Art of Homeschooling podcast, where we help parents cultivate creativity and connection at home. I'm your host, Jean Miller, and here on this podcast, you'll find stories and inspiration to bring you the confidence you need to make homeschooling work for your family. Let's begin. Welcome to a new episode here on the podcast. I'm super excited today to reveal to you, dear listener, my number one piece of advice to all homeschoolers. And here it is. Start with simplicity, return to simplicity, embrace simplicity. This is my number one piece of advice to all homeschoolers. Allow your life to be simple. If you put simplicity as your highest guiding principle, you'll save yourself a lot of headache, heartache, and stress. Believe me, I've been there. I looked up the word simplicity as I was preparing to record this episode, and here's what I found. Simplicity is the quality of being plain or natural and easy to understand or do. Whoa. Okay, so here's the honest truth. I don't naturally gravitate towards simplicity. I crave it. I long for it. It's just that my mind has this tendency to overcomplicate things and think something's wrong if it's too easy or too simple. Back during our homeschooling years, if I decided I wanted to bring more movement, for example, more movement activities to our warm-up time before lessons, I'd search and search until I'd found 6 or 8 possibilities so I could choose the best one. Sometimes I would even find 12 possibilities. And while I was at it, I might as well look for some new songs and some new poems and read about how to bring music lessons into our mornings. And pretty soon, I was exhausted and overwhelmed. And once again, hadn't gotten done any more movement activities during our homeschool day than I had the day before. If you can relate to this, then this episode is for you. Here are 4 practical ways to live with simplicity as a central pillar of your homeschooling life. Number 1, start with a simple plan. Number 2, scale back when you need to. Number 3, embrace the 20-20-20 rule whenever necessary. And 4, build back up slowly, one thing at a time. Whether it's a new baby, a sick family member, or a financial setback, life brings the unexpected. It just has a way of doing that. So it helps to have a super simple plan for homeschooling, a framework that you can refer to and rely on no matter what. I've created a new Homeschool Simplicity bundle to help you with all of this. Inside, you'll find the 3rd edition of the Homeschool Simplicity ebook, along with these beautiful planning templates, block outlines for grades 1 through 8, and training videos to show you how to bring it all together so you can keep your homeschooling simple, inspiring, and most of all, doable. You can find all the details at artofhomeschooling.com/simplicity bundle. Another honest truth here, a purchased curriculum is complicated to implement, to bring to your children. How do children learn? That's not so complicated because here's the thing. As human beings, our brains are wired for learning. Just think about it. We are curious creatures who seek out opportunities for learning new things all day, every day. So when we plan for homeschooling, we want to take advantage of this by keeping our lives and our lessons as simple as possible. My suggestion is that you create for yourself the simplified version of homeschooling for your family, one that you can fall back on and still feel like a successful homeschooling parent on those days or in those seasons when it all just doesn't seem to be happening. And then you can build up from there. Here's what this looks like. Start with rhythm. Keep your rhythm and routine super simple. Start with meal times and bedtime as the anchor points of your day and cultivate those 4 anchors. Get them steady and moving along smoothly, and then build upon that structure. Your rhythm is how you organize your homeschool day. As the author of Simplicity Parenting says, the magic of rhythm is in the process, not in the particulars. That's Kim John Payne. Think about music. Music is organized around repeated motifs that the listener comes to anticipate, right? Rhythm, repetition, they allow you to relax into the flow. So just as music flows from one variation on a theme to the next, our days at home with our children can flow with the same ease and simplicity as a beautiful piece of music. For sure, our lives are complicated now more than ever, I would say. And the work we do as mothers and as fathers is so very important. Whether you're new to this idea of rhythm or just need a gentle reminder to return to your focus to the flow, you've got this. I often say rhythm is like a dance, and you want to find that sweet spot between structure and freedom. A few key principles to keep in mind. Life is complicated. Let's simplify it. Rhythm can help. Rhythm is not meant to be rigid. Be gentle with yourself. Sometimes your rhythm will fall apart, and that's okay. Do less so you can connect more. That last one is my favorite. Do less so you can connect more. As you work with rhythm, keep this beautiful quote from Kim John Payne in mind. Relationships are often built in the intervals, the spaces between activities when nothing much is going on. Want more help crafting your homeschool rhythm? If you don't have it already, get my free Homeschool Rhythm Starter Kit and create your daily rhythm chart so you can step into the flow and release the overwhelm. You'll find it at artofhomeschooling.com/startwithrhythm. And now I want to explain the 20-20-20 rule. So I encourage you to embrace this 20-20-20 rule. And the idea is so simple. It takes an hour a day and it covers all three main subjects: language arts, math, and science. Here's how it works. Spend 20 minutes reading aloud, 20 minutes practicing math, and 20 minutes outside. Because here's the thing, when everything falls apart or we don't know how to keep up with it all, we think we need a more solid plan. We feel all over the place and distracted and like we're not doing this homeschooling thing very well. And sometimes we even want someone else to just tell us what to do. Our tendency then is to throw everything out the window. But as soon as you find one good book to read and begin reading, play a math game and go for a hike, you'll feel better immediately. The key is to set aside the time to be with your children and engage in enriching activities undistracted. That's when the learning happens, and especially the connection, doing things together. That's why the 20-20-20 rule is so helpful. It gives you a framework for those days when you think, now, what were we going to do today? Or, oh, snap, I don't have a plan for today, or even I'm too tired to even think about lessons. It's a minimum viable homeschooling day. Now you have a plan. Remember this important mantra: scale back until it works and then add from there. So after you've scaled back with the 20-20-20 rule, you're ready to build it back up. And you can then take one of those 20-minute segments and build it into a full-blown main lesson block with a 2-day rhythm, lively arts woven in, verses, songs, movement, whatever it is that you might want to add in. But even when you're taking one of those subjects, either language arts or math or science, and turned it into a main lesson, keep the other 20 minutes of the other two subjects going. And that's homeschool simplicity right there. Looking back, I can truly say that every year of our homeschooling was different. But I see the thread of connection with rhythm, with the lively arts, with the engaging activities that we did together. And now, as young adults, all three of my kids are curious, hands-on learners who love to read, build things, and spend time outdoors. They've all been to college or tech school and are primed to learn about whatever next interest they have. So just remember, even when life is challenging, you can keep your homeschooling so simple that it works. That's really the key, to keep it so simple that it works, so that you can feel like there's forward momentum, like you're doing all right as the leader of the crew, and you can sustain homeschooling through the years. Don't forget, you can find all the links from this episode over in the show notes at artofhomeschooling.com/episode 108, including a link to the free homeschool rhythm starter kit, as well as the newly revised homeschool simplicity bundle, so that you can embrace simplicity in your homeschool life. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.
That's all for today, my friend. But here's what I want you to remember. Rather than perfection, let's focus on connection. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Art of Homeschooling podcast.